Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phixem, and welcome to the weekly Phix. Cyberpunk 2077 was delayed weeks ago. Actually, to be more specifically, on October the 27th, the official site, the official Twitter page, posted that they wanted Cyberpunk to run really well on all systems, and right now current gen seems to be what's holding it up, and you know, kind of keeping some of these things back. But my point, um, and I know there were some other things about uh why they really held it back, and like some business calls that the company was having and stuff like that they apologized. I know some other stuff like that, but my point isn't to really highlight you know, necessarily why they delayed it. It's a couple questions that just made me think about just the company, CD Projekt Red, and other companies alike. You know, as a whole, Cyberpunk 2077 has been a game that has been highly anticipated for years. And people have hung on to this game being released. One of the reasons I think is because one, it's not crowd funded. It's by and so people have not financially invested any money that they can't get back. Um, Unlike Star Citizen, which has been I'll let you guys look it up. Star Citizen has been crowdfunded, and I think one of the biggest crowdfunded titles, if I believe so. I think it's one of the biggest crowdfunded titles. So a lot of people are disgruntled, rightfully so, because people have invested hundreds and I believe thousands of dollars into that game. But it's with CD Project Red's Cyberpunk 2077. I think one of the reasons why people are okay waiting um, for a game like this is because first they have not, like I said, they have not financially put any money towards it, and I think second, one of the reasons I think is okay because CD Projekt Red has a very great reputation. It has a reputation of pulling out quality games with The Witcher, and I feel bad for saying this, but I have not actually played The Witcher, and I feel like I should go back and play it. And they have a really good series and a really good reputation with their base. Um, but another thing, I also think, you know, with just games in general, how the delays in this game, you know, for whatever reason, how they will affect the gaming industry as a whole, if they will, excuse me, have an effect at all. You know, we live in a day and age where a lot of AAA titles are being released long before they should actually be released. They're being released broken, especially a lot of MMOs. If you think about the console, you know, I must say maybe about Xbox 360s and PS3s and up. Games have released in such a state that would be considered broken and kind of be updated later. You know, as the time goes on and will eventually get better. One of the things that was a prime example of this, I want to say maybe last year, was uh, EA's Anthem. Anthem released, and it was so much controversy, so much things surrounding that game. Broken weapons, story missions that said they were going to be in the game that wasn't in the game, the rush development, the engine that didn't necessarily work right, the missions that felt, more so like they were just to hold the player up as opposed to being a deep involved, like that instead of it held the player up as opposed to giving depth to the actual story. And it makes me wonder, you know, given the fact that CD Projekt Red has delayed, up until this point, I'm recording this, um, it's still being released December 10th, as opposed to its previous date in November. But it makes me think if Cyberpunk is still able to hit, you know, record breaking numbers, best selling numbers, things of that nature, with all the delays to polish and polish and polish and make sure it's working and doing all these things. It makes me think what other companies, EA. I know Bethesda has had a problem with Fallout 76. Um, and there's other companies I probably I can't think of at the moment. But it makes me think whether you know would these other companies follow suit and try to think, what, if we come out with a game, maybe we can still make the money that we want to make, but hold it back a little bit more and polish it to make sure it's the best that it can be. You know, I'm a huge cyberpunk genre fan. I love that style, the art, the theme of it. But it makes me wonder and hope for of course, when the game comes out, I'll still buy the game. I'll definitely buy it day one. You know, and which is funny because a lot of the times I preach, wait till the game is being reviewed, give it space, give it time to breathe. And right now, Cyberpunk 2077 is probably the only game I would get day one, just because it's like, what, I feel comfortable with the company and them as a whole, just polishing and polishing, and that's what they preach to us. They preach to us they're going to polish it and make it better, and that it's going to continue to grow and be a smooth playing game because if you watch some of the episodes that they have on that channel, they talk about how many intricate parts that are in the game, and they wanted to make sure it's working right, which nobody reasonably has a problem with. Nobody has a problem with a game. People want to release a game that works correctly. I think, sidebar, I just think people are a little bit disappointed because some of the vocabulary that they use to describe these release dates are like guaranteed. Absolutely no reason, it would be delayed and it's gone gold. And most times when games go gold, like they're certified, they're just ready to be released. People feel like this is going to happen, so to get it delayed after that is a little bit disappointing. And most people do understand that sometimes as a company, the devs and some of the people who do some of the businesses, the communication sometimes isn't always there, and people don't know. Like some of the devs, I believe, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Some of the devs found out the same time that we did. So sometimes things like that happen. But furthermore on topic, I would really like to see, you know, it's not, and the thing is, the reason I titled this Cyberpunk 2077 The Dilemma, and it's not necessary, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a dilemma, or I could say it, I don't know. But I really would like to see companies be able to look at what CD Projekt Red is doing, delaying it, but still make the money on the back end, and kind of take that as, hey, we can release a quality game, a game that people love, and it can also work. you know, um, I can go in and talk a lot about 2K and their releases, and you count the past 5 years, and you count how many good releases versus bad releases they've had, and it just makes you think like. And granted, sports games are a little bit different because sports games come out yearly, but you take other games like Anthem. There's no reason, given that development cycle of that game, why it should release in the state that it did. Like I mean, this is me personally. You can't justify that. Fallout 76. That's my hometown of Maryland, Bethesda. I root for Bethesda. I love them as a company, but Fallout 76 did not release in the greatest state, and I feel like they could do better. And and maybe it's just me. I don't want to sit there and be like, these developers are trash and all this other stuff. No, they're humans just like me. Especially some of these. I don't even know if they're real Cyberpunk 2077 fans who sent death threats. You're not a fan. You're crazy and you need to get help. There's no reason you should threaten anybody over a video game. That's just atrocious. But I think for me, um, I just would really like to see the game do really well, because I think if the game does really well and sells really well, internationally in the US, I really think possibly it could change some of the problems that we have with industries or with some of these game industries and companies and stuff across the board. You know, at this point right now, I really think a lot of AAA games that come out, especially that try to cash in on this MMO like thing with Destiny, with Marvel Avengers, sheesh, with with that game, like with a lot of games that come out in Fallout 76 and some of these other games, it makes me think like if you can make your money and still delay the game, you know, and maybe communicate a little bit better and people still love it, you win all the way around. The consumer like myself wins because we get a game that works and that's fluid, that has limited bugs. Now I'm not saying that it needs to be perfect. Some games just won't be perfect. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it has to be without flaw. But when you have game breaking glitches and stuff that completely alters the way you play and stuff that and 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 I guess I can say this might sound funny, but a lack of love for your fans and for the game itself, we notice this stuff. We notice it. But I think if you know company if Cyberpunk 2077 does well, and I would say in closing, if it does well, I would like to believe that other companies would take precedent. Um, Hopefully the game will come out December 10th. Though there were some unverified rumors of the game um, being delayed till 2021. That is rumor. That is not verified. I I believe, if I remember correctly, that they've shot that rumor down. However, we've heard a lot of language before. There's no reason why it should not come out December 10th. It's guaranteed. Things happen. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. But I really hope it comes out. I really hope it comes out. Um, I think the world needs Cyberpunk 2077. We've waited very long, patient. A lot of us have invested days off, work days, and stuff like that. And I think people just want to see the game get released. So that's all the time that I have today. I appreciate you guys sticking in for the discussion in the very first episode um, of the Weekly Fix. I will catch you guys later, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.